And we're back with another BS episode. Yeah, we're back with another one. Summer is still in full effect. There's a good heat wave going around all over the. Are you guys getting a heat wave up there in the Canadians?
Dude, it's friggin' hot, bro.
Well, your room's always hot, but outside of your room.
Yeah, it's been about on average somewhere between like 95-ish.
Yep. So I just got back from Portland and Boise, and they're going through a heat wave. And it's a little bit humid, which I kind of like it, but I come to SoCal and it's a little bit hotter, but it's also dry, you know? So hope you guys are taking care of yourselves because drink a lot of water. It's hot out there.
I like going outside. Even during a heat wave, it's always cooler than inside.
Yeah.
Always.
So before we begin with today's episode, make sure you guys do check in the description below. We got that VPN deal. That way you guys could get yourself protected. Yeah, I know we say it all the time, but things are getting serious every day. So protect yourself before it's too late. All right, what do you got?
Buzz TV, buzztvglobal.com. Make sure you get Buzz. Great products, great devices, great accessories, great people, and great experience with buzztvglobal.com.
Wow.
Huh?
There you go, guys. You got your Buzz TV. So, wanted to bring a couple things up with today's episode. I know some of you guys are probably reading the title like, what's shutting down now? Streaming services. There's a couple things here, and what we want to do today is kind of like help you guys out, like pretty much figure it out. And it's not an easy episode for some people because they want to be spoon-fed with everything, but in today's society, you can't really spoon-feed everybody. You gotta learn to wipe your own ass sometimes. So I know you got an article, and I want to save that one because that's actually a really, really, really good one. A couple things before we really dive into one more pause for the cause. Make sure you guys go to androidtv.tips.
Oh, yeah.
Next Level's got a really, really good website there with a lot of new stuff curated for you all in one spot. If you do go to the homepage, though, you're not going to find all the news. You'll probably find some BS stuff in there, but that's okay.
That's me.
So,
BS.
Yeah, but if you guys do click on the news, you guys will be able to find a bunch of articles that he's put out there for you guys. So pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
And the other thing too is actually I was going to tell this to you yesterday, but completely forgot. My streaming tech channel just hit 10,000 subscribers.
You did tell me.
I did tell you?
You did tell me.
I don't think I told you.
You told me that.
I think you were watching my channel. You're just like, ooh, this will just hit 10K.
Right. That's exactly what I made a poster and everything.
Sweet. I'll sign it for you. So the grind is real. Building up another channel, and it hit 10K. Just continuing the work. If you guys are looking for this information about anything with streaming and stuff, it's all out there. Just got to do a little bit of research and you'll find it. So the first thing I'm going to mention is, I know we're talking about streaming, with streaming services being shut down or devices being shut down or whatever. There's a couple things that we're going to touch today. And the first thing I want to talk about is a streaming device. When a streaming device stops working, I'm sure you've had this before where people say, hey, I have this thing and it stopped working. I have this EPG and it no longer works. And this service don't work no more. I don't know what to do. All my info is correct. What would you do to troubleshoot that?
Oh, we're going there? Is like that specific question?
That's specific. What would you do to troubleshoot it? Like, some of the stuff is pretty basic, but what do you do? Like, what are your steps to do?
Usually you want to start with a clean slate. So reboot the device and your internet. Start from there. And then if it's still not kicking in, you could try to manually refresh depending on your application. And then after that, I would look into clearing cache. If that's still not working, I would actually try several apps that do the same thing and see if is it an app specific issue or is it something else. So it could still be a device or a connection issue, or it could be a server related issue, right? And then
Right.
you keep going down the route, like the route from there. Like if it is an app specific issue, then you can try clearing. If the clearing the cache didn't work, you could try clearing the data, and then logging back in from fresh, and then loading everything from fresh. That kind of stuff, you know.
So I've kind of changed my steps a little bit, just a little bit. So I do the same thing, clear cache and stuff like that. You know, that's like the basics. Like unplug your router, modem, reboot that stuff. Unplug your device, reboot that too, just in case. But the other thing is pay attention to the error that you're getting. I've heard some people say like, "Hey, I'm getting this 501 error," or I'm getting a username password expired.
They don't read the whole question though, because when it comes up, it says that it's expired or incorrect.
Or incorrect.
Because usually it's the same thing in the same sentence, but they stop halfway. They don't read the whole thing.
Right. So
I want to punch somebody in the head.
so there's a couple things too. Like the other one says network error. And I love when people get network error and I'm just like, well, have you checked your router and your modem? Oh, it works fine. Like my internet's all connected and everything. I'm just like, I'm not asking if your internet's down. Like the biggest thing that's going on right now, and I think we briefly talked about this too last time, where it's just like, hey, I'm getting a lot of people getting like network errors and they're not able to like log into shit. It's like, what do you do? Dude, especially AT&T. There's some other providers out there that are the culprits of this stuff, but I know AT&T is a big one. But they added a security feature on there.
A lot of companies, yo, a lot of companies.
They're rolling it out. They added a security feature that you need to turn that off.
That sucker off.
Dude, I had this thing called Safeguard on my Nighthawk. And for those of you wondering, because I had a few people asking me, like, dude, how's your Nighthawk doing? I know you bought it and a lot of people are having issues with it. Dude, I had maybe like 2 or 3 issues around month 2 and month 3. And I went in there to the settings to figure out like some stuff and to turn off some stuff and to like, like tweak with the settings. Not one issue ever since. Not one. And that thing has been amazing. Like I like it's been almost a year. I got that thing in November, I think, October, November of last year. So we're getting closer to a year. So a couple issues, that's not bad for, most people have a lot of issues with their internet. So that safeguard or guard wire, whatever the hell it was, I turned it off. I'm like, let me just shut this thing off.
And I've told people to do that, and I've actually had people say, hey, if I do this, would that mean my neighbor can log into my Wi-Fi? No. I mean, they have to ask the questions because they don't know, right? Because it's a safety feature. So if that is one of the questions that you have and you want to turn off the safeguard or the advanced safety features of your modem, it doesn't change the requirement of needing a password for your Wi-Fi, right? What it is just a filter on what you can view on the internet. It's like blocking certain things, saying, oh, this is not, they think it's not good for you. Don't tell me what's good for me. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Either a lot of people right now, it's either one of 3 things. It's either their safeguard or they're some kind of block, or another big thing right now, especially here on the north side of the border, is routing issues. Because of that whole outage with Rogers, bro, my internet has gone down every 2 or 3 days since then. And some people are like, oh, this isn't working or that's not working. There's still things that are being affected by this outage.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So that's what I would recommend. Check your check that part. And exactly
VPN.
what Next Level is saying, like,
Gotta have
well, let's
VPN for
just, and
troubleshooting.
you know what? I'll put it to perspective. If you guys are going to, let's just say, like Facebook.com, or if you're going to YouTube, or if you're going like whatever website it is that you're going through, ESPN.com, it doesn't matter. If the router says, nope, I don't want you to look at this, then that website will say this website's down, or error connection, or cloudware fair thing, or whatever. It'll give you some kind of information to make it look like they're having the issue. But it will tell you a code, and most people don't know how to look up the codes. Like, hey, what does this mean? So the first thing I would recommend is turn it off. And you know what? Even with the VPN, I've heard people with a VPN service say, hey, I turn on my VPN, I I hook up to the app, and it still doesn't work. It's because you're still going through your router, and your router says, cool, you got this VPN. Guess what? We don't like that VPN. We're not going to let you use that VPN. Don't use that VPN. And
Well,
there's ways around that too. There's ways like once you turn that off, or if you want to leave that security feature on, you can go to your VPN and then flip. I forget what it was. It's like open to something else, or something else to open. Um, but there's certain settings in there. And again, do your research before you start messing with it, and then just have a backup plan to reset it back to scratch just in case you do screw it up big time.
a lot of times when people say their VPN isn't working, it's because they haven't refreshed their connection. So the app is still like, it needs to be refreshed. Like, force close the app, reopen it to make sure that it understands that it needs to travel through the VPN. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to restart that shit.
Yeah.
Force close, all that kind of good shit.
So those are some of the things that I would recommend when you guys are looking into that stuff. The other thing is, I've had people, even with certain apps, they'll say, hey, this thing was working great, and then this thing stopped working. Again, clear cache, check everything's connected, refresh whatever it is that you need to refresh, or reinstall whatever it is that you reinstall. There was issues with an app, and I'm not going to get too specific with the apps, that I had it through an APK, and they threw it on the Google Play Store, and then it stopped working somehow because it was trying to force itself to update through the Google Play Store, even though it was an APK outside of the Play Store. And of course, the Google Play Store has security features and measures that when you download something specifically from there, they will do the update. If you download it outside of somewhere else, and the Google Play Store don't recognize it, even though it's the exact same thing, you might have some kind of conflict between the two, and they might say, like, you're not getting this update, and then now your app don't work no more. The biggest thing that I would tell people is sometimes you just have to uninstall the whole thing. In worst case scenarios, even if everything is not working completely, I would even do a factory reset on the device, because sometimes the device is holding some kind of like cookie or some kind of hidden file or something where you can't get to wipe it out completely. And doing a factory reset will wipe everything out completely, no matter what you do. So that's like my last resort. Factory reset, and then start to reinstall it from the first app that you want to get to work. I've even seen this with Disney Plus. I had an error on my Disney Plus app that says application not accessible. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? And what I did was I turned off the Wi-Fi from my phone, because I also have the phone I have the app on my phone. And I had this error on the NVIDIA Shield. I went on my phone, the app worked. I went on NVIDIA Shield, and it didn't work. And I had the security measures and everything turned off. All the save, everything was turned off. I turned the Wi-Fi back on my phone, and the app still worked. I force closed it, clear cache and everything, turned it back on. It still works. I went back to my Shield. It wasn't working still. So I went through the steps. Cool. Clear cache, clear data, uninstall, or clear cache, clear data, force stop, uninstall, go to the Play Store, reinstall, log in. Bob's your uncle. It worked. And it sometimes it's something that, and for some reason it could just be the device that was trying to do something and it got stuck somewhere, and that's it. It's broken, and that's pretty much like the only way to fix it. Now, if it doesn't work after that, I would have done a factory reset. I would have hated it to do that because I had a lot of stuff on my Shield, but most of the time, something simple like that is it. You know what I mean?
Got to go
So,
through your shit. Step by step process. There's a lot. It's a process of elimination.
and see, the thing is that people need to
Understand.
like. It's cool if they want to ask questions. Like, I don't mind. I've had plenty of people that will email me and ask me stuff, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to send you a donation. Like, I appreciate your help." And I always tell them, like, "Dude, don't worry about it. As long as you're up and running and you're working, and I'm good, man." And they're like, no. This is your time. And if I have to call tech support or whatever, like, you typically have to pay people, or you're paying a much higher of a premium. So it's kind of included. And I know, and I'll have people that will tell me, like, "Hey, I bought this Formula device. I'm on my TV online and I'm trying to do this stuff and it's not working. I don't know what to do. Have you tried to clear cache? I don't know how to do that." Okay, this is how you do it. Go to settings, find the app, find this, clear cache, clear data, unplug, plug it back in, see what happens. And what you need to do is you need to get very familiar with your product. If it's a Fire Stick, if it's Disney Plus, if it's YouTube, if it's a Samsung TV, whatever your product is, if it's an application or if it's a streaming device, whatever it is, you need to get familiar with it to know how it works. Like my TV, like I did several videos on how to do things on, like, literally I had a lot of views on how to clear cache and clear data on a smart TV that people didn't know about. And I was actually, the only reason why I did those videos because I had people ask me, "How do I log into my Disney Plus on my smart TV?" And I'm just like, "Really? We're going there?"
Oh yeah, we're going there.
Okay, that means just because I know how to do it doesn't mean the next person might know how to do it. So I said, "Cool, let me help you out. I'll do a video. I'll post it up and blah blah blah." And now I'm getting people saying, like, "Hey, can you do this for a Sony? Can you do this for a Toshiba? Can you do this for," like, they're asking for like all these different models of TVs now. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to go to Best Buy and be like, "Hey, can I borrow your TV for a second?"
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, dang it, what did I do? So yeah, I don't know. I think people just need to go to your settings and get familiar with it. Go to the settings and just go around. Like, you don't have like click on one thing and then just read what's in there. So that way you're just like, "Oh, this is how I factory reset. Oh, this is how I could uninstall this. Oh, here's my app store for this brand of TV." And then you'll probably surprise yourself and be like, "Cool, that's how you do it." Um, when it comes to streaming devices, I know we covered apps just now, but streaming devices, there is a big thing that just dropped, and I need to confirm this for sure. I don't know if people are just like talking smack about it or they're just like trying to stir something up. But leave us a comment or review if you've heard about this. And I don't know if Next Level heard about this, but supposedly there is a streaming device that is going to shut down next year. And they supposedly announced it themselves and said, "We will no longer be around next year."
No, I hear about this.
Again, I don't know how true this is. I need to reach out and I need to Like, okay, put it this way. In the research that I was doing, I found a couple things out there. Superbox.
Oh, well then, lifetime's lifetime, huh?
Supposedly, from what I heard, again, don't shoot the messenger. If anybody else knows about this, comment below. But from what I heard, it came directly from Superbox. And I'm not talking about a reseller. I'm talking about like the head where whoever's on top has made an announcement saying like, hey, after this year, we're done. We're shutting it off. I don't know what that means with all the sub resellers. Because remember, if they decide to say, hey, we're shutting down and we're no longer updating anything and we're unplugging servers or whatever it is, everything goes offline. That entire box will go offline. Like like they literally will brick it if that's what happens. There's nothing that you can do about it. So what do you do if that happens? What would you do?
The whole device wouldn't be bricked though if you had one of those, would it? Like you can't use the blue apps, but you could use other things. No,
No.
it's still an Android box.
I tried when I reviewed it and I tried to go to Chrome, the app wouldn't open. And I was trying to downloader and I was trying to search. I was going to search IDA 64 to see the specs. I couldn't do it. And I'm just like, why the heck is this thing not working? I was connected to the internet. Everything was cool. And then I had to reach out and say, hey, I'm trying to go to the Google Play Store or the Google Chrome, and it's not working. And they said, okay, try it now. I'm like, oh, you guys have that much power on this thing, huh? You could restrict the box like that.
I wonder if you can install it through USB though.
I'm sure you can. But what good does that do you if you can't do anything with it? Like, I opened up Chrome and it said error. I got an error message. Anything that I was opening up, it said error. Please contact Superbox. Please contact the seller.
Well, that sucks.
And I know we've talked about the codes before, and we dove. I mean, some people were so pissed off at us saying like, you guys are idiots, and it's just like, dude, we dissected and read it for you guys so that way you guys know exactly what it is, and we're the idiots. I guess ignorance is bliss, right? So I don't know. I don't know if they have a way to flip it where they say, hey, these guys could do whatever they want with their box from now on. Because even, you know what, even if you were to brick the box yourself and say, hey, I'm just gonna make this into a regular Android box, I don't think you could uninstall all the stuff that they have on that thing. Like all the Dragon stuff that we found, like all those apps from back in the day. I don't think you can go in there and uninstall it, because the second that if you completely get rid of everything on there, I think you brick the thing. Like, and I know there's ways of unbricking it, but like you would literally have to wipe everything out and go into like, I don't know what, DOS? Or throw Linux on there and then maybe sudo get something.
Sudo get me TV.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I've never used a super box, dragon box, tangular, strangula box, whatever. Never used any of those, so I can't say.
I'm curious. I'm very curious to see what would happen. I don't know. I don't know. So for me, if a box breaks and a box is no longer working, I typically try to do a factory reset. If it's something like a super box, then I don't know actually. I don't know what you would do if it was something like that, but what I would recommend always is starting over, reset it. Now, if you have a device, oh, here's the other thing too. If you have a device that's older than 2 years old and it starts to act a little buggy, step 1, factory reset the thing and see if that helps. Step 2, when you're trying to install things, make sure you still have 2 gigs of internal storage. Now, if you don't know where that is, typically, if you go to settings, you'll find something in there that says applications, manage applications, something like that, or about something, and look for available storage. You need to have more than 2 gigs. Anything less than that, your device is going to start acting up funny. And I've seen people go about less than a gig and it still works, but the second they start watching something live and it starts to cache, they're like, why is it buffering? 2 gigs minimum. If you can do that, great. But that's step 2. When you're installing stuff, make sure that's what you do. Step 3, if it's still doing it, even if you just downloaded, and again, I keep using Disney Plus because it's just an easier app. A lot of people are using it now. Even if you're using like Disney Plus and you're like, I'm still buffering, I'm still having this, I'm still having issues. You know what? If your stick is older than 2 years old and you already factory reset it and you just put one app and it's still not working right, then something is happening with the hardware on that thing. You might need a new one. Just like a cell phone, when your cell phone starts acting slow, you need a new one. Most people upgrade every 2 years.
Look, there's a prime example. There's an application called something, and it used to cause devices to flag a low storage warning. And it didn't matter how much stuff you removed off your device, it wouldn't go away. And, you know, a couple times I tried troubleshooting it. I spent hours and hours and hours. And then after a while, I was like, what am I doing? It takes 5 to 10 minutes to do a factory restart and set everything back up. You know what I mean? Than me trying to troubleshoot this stupid issue. Sometimes it's just quicker to do a factory reset. Sometimes it's better to do a factory reset. Sometimes you gain back a lot of your storage by doing a factory reset because you get rid of a lot of things you're no longer using anymore. The second part is, listen, if you got a first gen Fire Stick and you're trying to make this thing jump through rings of fire, you need to like check yourself before you wreck yourself. I get it. Some of us are like, what do you call it? Like freebie hunters. And we're like, you know, really, really tight on our budget and whatever. I get it. If that's you, then all the power to you. Your time is what you have to help you save money. But we're living in a day today where devices are like $25, $20 for a device. And some of us are still fighting with first and second gen Fire Sticks. Like these things, yeah, they can work, but more often than not, you've got your money out of it already. It's time to move on. Bury that shit up, pack it up, and get a better device.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Those people that still want to use those stupid mag boxes, like what the hell? Thing looks like it was made in the 1800s. Jeez.
Well then,
make me mad, bro. Make me mad.
Yeah, I agree. People got to start upgrading their life just a little bit.
You don't have to spend a lot of money to be an active, vivid streamer. You know what I mean? Like $25. Yo, the Fire Sticks. I keep talking about Fire Sticks, so that's my clutch. But they're on sale more often than they're not on sale. I recently dropped a video where I went through all of Amazon's devices lined up, and I talked about who each device is made for and why you would get certain devices versus other devices. You know what I mean? Like they're all good devices. They all serve a purpose, right? You have to figure out what that purpose is for you. And it's like I always say, streaming devices are one of the only devices that you can buy and sell for more than what you bought it for. So you don't have to feel a certain way about dropping some bread on a streaming device. You can sell it for more than what you paid.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And trust me, it does suck. Like when you're used to, like I've had people saying, like, "Oh my gosh, I've had this Buzz TV 3500, and I love the box. I don't want to part my ways." And I'm just like, bro, they have some killer devices right now that you'll be fine. And I understand you have it set up exactly how you want it, but trust me, these new ones, the X5 series is freaking amazing. The 4500 is amazing. The 4900 is amazing. If you want a stick, they got the vid stick. If you want a dongle, they got a dongle. Like they have a lot of things covered for you. Big time. Now, with that being said, with like Buzz TV and Fire Sticks, Nvidia Shield, like Formula, whatever it is that you got, Me Cool, Chromecast, there's also accessories that you can get, like air mouses and stuff. And the one thing I got to remind people is when you set that keyboard, mouse, remote control, whatever it is, a third party accessory, you got to remember, even though it works right now great, if there is a major update, let's just say Android 11 to Android 12, guess what? There's a good chance that your whatever you have hooked up might stop working or might not work properly. I've had air mouses where I'm just like the back button for the Nvidia Shield don't work. I don't know why. I'm hitting the back button. It should just go back and it don't work. So as things are upgrading, a lot of these air mouses or keyboards or third-party remotes, most of the time they just rely on like, hey, these are just simple, basic, functional buttons that will upgrade all the time. And it's almost like we're the guinea pigs because we're going to be like, oh, hey, this doesn't work anymore. What the hell is going on? Like, this is like, why not? So, and the other thing too is most of the time there's like a couple back buttons. Sometimes it looks like a little back circle or a direct back button. Try them both out. One of them might work. Now, I know you had an article that was kind of interesting, and I was like, oh my gosh, tell me later. What is it? So, what do you got? What is it?
So the article is actually about a case that's been ongoing since 2019. And it's about Spectrum. Let me just share my screen here. This is an update to the case. It says Spectrum is ordered to pay murder victims' family more than $7 billion. Billion.
Billion.
So in Dallas, this is a case from Texas. The company known as Spectrum Cable in Texas was ordered by a Dallas County jury to pay the family of a woman more than $7 billion after an employee killed her in her home.
What?
The jury found Spectrum Cable or Charter Communications liable in the stabbing death of an 83-year-old lady, Betty Thomas.
What? Wow.
In December 2019, Roy Holden Jr. was working for the cable company as an installer. He did some work at Thomas's home in Irving and then returned the next day to kill her off duty.
Wow.
Holden stole the elderly woman's credit card and went on a spending spree. He is in prison for life after pleading guilty to the murder. Lawyers for Thomas's family said that the cable company failed to properly screen Holden and had been warned about his troubling behavior before the murder. Jurors awarded the family $375 million in compensation and damages, which are damages awarded to plaintiffs as justice for wrongdoing. The cable company is responsible for 90% of that amount. The jurors also found the company grossly negligent and ordered it to pay $7 billion as punishment for that negligence. Now, the interesting is, I read a couple articles in regards to this case, and the cable company said, we've done our background screening. He had no criminal offenses prior, and there's no complaints about his work. So what do you want from us? But I don't understand. It's almost like we're not being told something. How do you hold Spectrum accountable for this if they've done that basic due diligence?
Yeah.
So there's something else that they're not really telling us. So he was going to do the installation work just to scope out people's houses and then to rob them later. So I think it's a good idea. Maybe we just do a friendly reminder. If you have anybody coming into your house, anybody, I think there's a certain way that you need to talk and you need to carry yourself and you need to control the environment as well, right? Like if somebody comes into your house, you don't say, "Hey, that's a pretty cool safe that I have in the corner there that's got 3 Bitcoin on a USB ledger." You know what I mean? Like there's certain things you do and you don't do and things that you say and you don't say. So when people come into your house, yes, they're doing something for you. They may sound really friendly, but you don't tell them your life story, bro.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's sad because there's a lot of older people that will be there and just be a chatterbox about stuff.
Yeah, because they want to talk.
And then the worst part is that you're like when like cable company or the electric company or any of these companies that are there to service whatever you have, whatever you need, you have to let them in your home for them to fix whatever it is that you're looking for. So that's a scary situation. And yeah, it's a very scary situation. I could see. Oh, it's like how do you grow from that? How do you change that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like you have to have a cable that comes inside your house to connect to stuff. So they have to come in no matter what. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah, you can let them come in, but you don't have to give them a grand tour of your home and show them everything where everything is in your house.
Here's
Right?
my panties.
Like you don't show them everything, bro. Like even if they're coming, even if they're working right underneath your TV, you don't have to say things like, "Oh, I paid 20 grand for this TV." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's ways to talk to people, and there's ways not to talk to people.
Yeah, I know when I moved and I had those movers come in, I had them help me out actually because it was a lot. It was pretty heavy, you know? And they kind of said like, they looked at the TV. Well, you know how expensive my TV is. They looked at TV and they're helping me out. They're just like, "Holy crap, dude." First thing they said was, "How much was this TV?" And me, I'm just like, it's up there. It's not cheap." And they're just like, "It's big." And then I'm just like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You can get some good deals out there." I'm like, "You just gotta keep your eyes open." I don't want to give them a price because they're all like eyeballing it, like, "Oh," like, dude. Yeah, but I agree. You just got to be careful. Yeah, you just got to be careful. You know?
I mean, sometimes it's nice for a conversation, but that's small little percentage where it could lead to something else. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Not worth it at all.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Some crazy shiznits. Is that the only article you had? You had another one.
That's the only article I had.
Okay, that's cool. You look like you're looking at something now.
I'm just scrolling through the news feeds, bro. Just
No.
scrolling through the news feeds.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. So just be careful out there when you guys have people coming in because you never know. Um, the one thing I hate is when you get these people come in, they knock on your door and you tell them no, thank you. You know, we've actually had these people come down and for our solar panels, they keep coming in, knocking on our door over and over and over and over. And they're just like, hey, are you still paying for electricity? I always tell them nope. And they're like, really? They're like, normally people need a little bit more panels. I was like, goodbye. It's like, no, I told you no. Goodbye. I'm done. And there's these two guys that come constantly. Constantly. I think they're trying to sell me like a battery so I could store the power, you know? And yesterday they were knocking, dude, they were like, ba 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 ba, ding dong. And they're like, hey, Mr. Rojas, we know you're home. We wanted to talk to you about this, this, this. I'm just like, did he just say he knows I'm home? Or did he sees me here in the couch in my underwear or what? And then I went to look at my camera, and this fool and the other fool, dude, they're on hoverboards. And these hoverboards also have a seat on them. So they're sitting down with the hoverboard and they're, and I'm just like, this. I'm like, oh hell no. And then dude, he's like on the end of the driveway and he's just like, Mr. Rojas, wanted to talk to you about the panels. And he comes back to the door, dude. I can hear him from the inside. Ding dong, pa 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 pa.
What the hell?
Dude. And I'm just like, screw it. Okay, so legit. I was in my underwear. I'm in my underwear. And I'm just like, I'm going to open up the door with my underwear, see if I scare these fools away. I went to open the door and they were gone already. I was like, damn it. These guys are going to get a rude awakening. So next time they come around, you know what I'm doing.
You're waiting for these dudes to show up on your driveway in your underwear?
Yep.
That's weird, but okay.
They usually come between like, and this is like I don't know. I think it's like the stupidest times that you would come down. It's typically around 7 p.m. It's like, okay, I'm either A, having dinner, or B, I'm hanging out to watch TV and relax. The hell are you doing, like, coming to my door at 7 p.m.? And I get it, people wait until you're out of work and stuff. And typically that's anywhere between 4 and 5 p.m. when people get off of work. And yeah, maybe give them an hour, 6 o'clock, 6:30, maybe hour and a half to get home and be dressed and changed and whatever. But dude, you don't go and interrupt people when they're having dinner or they're showering or Lord knows what you're doing around that 7 p.m. mark. But I don't want nobody knocking on my door bugging me about, you know what I mean? What's that new one? Vivinet, the security people. It's like a new company out there. I think it's called Vivinet. So these guys have been trying to sell me their stuff. Like as soon as the summer, like last summer, they're showing up every other week almost. They come down, they knock on the door, and they're like, "Yeah, we see that you have Brinks." I was like, "Yeah," and I talked to you like 2 weeks ago. And they're like, "Oh, that's right. Yeah, I need to cross you off my list." Bye. Like, dude. And I tell them, I was like, I get my security stuff for free. So unless you could do it for free and give me more security, let's have a conversation. If not, get the fuck off my property.
Well then,
America.
America.
America. I can't get my dog to sick on him because she'll probably just hide behind me while she's barking. Yeah. That's what I get over here. A lot of that. And this is the first time I've ever seen people on freaking hoverboards. You know what I need to do? I need to turn on the sprinklers.
Wow.
I have an automated thing. I should turn on the sensors so that way if it senses somebody, they all just turn on. That would be epic. Don't come to my house. You might get a shower, an early shower. Yeah, who does this door-to-door thing anymore? It's like for solar panels. I don't know. So, hope you guys appreciated today's episode. We're going to go ahead and end it with this one. Always try to get you guys the latest and greatest stuff, the latest and greatest info. Make sure you guys do some of your guys' research, because when something happens and shit hits the fan and you're trying to email myself or Next or whoever you're emailing to figure out your stuff and whatever, it's like a lot of us are really, really busy. And it's not like we don't like to help, or it's not like we demand a donation for our time, but our time with our family is very valuable, and most of the time we don't have a lot of it. So just do your research, do your understanding of how that stuff works, so that way when you do email us, it helps. Trust me, I've had people that tell me like, hey, Ro, I have this app. I already did the clear cache, clear data. I uninstalled it. I reinstalled it. I already did all that. I don't know what to do anymore. Cool. Have you tried turning off the security features? Oh no, how do I do that? You know what I mean? Like let us know. Give us some information already when you're reaching out. Just don't say, hey, my shit don't work no more. Because it's just like, well, when you wipe away. You know, that's what I'm gonna say. Sorry. Wipe away. You don't want a yeast infection. So educate yourself. If you can't see Next Level, I know he's a little dark right now, but his eyebrows are raised a little bit. But yeah, take care of yourself. Do some research, educate yourself, so that way you guys know what it is and you're not relying on other people to do it for you. And if you've already exhausted all your own resources, your own, like whatever whatever you learn, then reach out. We'll be glad to help, and we're always around. We try to give you guys some videos, we try to give you guys some tutorials and reviews or whatever it is, so that way you guys can make a better decision when you guys do make your purchases or when you guys do start installing things. So we've been here for several years, and I like to think that we kind of know what we're talking about sometimes. Maybe not. But yeah, take care of you guys yourselves as always, and make sure you guys stay cool for the summer. Next, what do you got before we get out of here?
You know what I say, guys? Thank you guys for watching and listening to another episode of Beyond the Streams. Wherever you guys are watching or listening to us from, make sure you leave us a comment or a review so other people like yourself can find the content that you enjoy. If you are also looking to be a part of the conversation and be a part of the community, make sure you join us over on YouTube on the Beyond the Streams channel every Thursday, typically between 1 to 4 Eastern Standard Time now, as we go live, and we can read your comments live as well. You never know where the conversation is going to go. You never know who we're going to have on. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.